Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Fong. Thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. I got something nice for you today. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message, message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinkers Way of Life, through mental and spiritual discipline daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. Right thinkers, if you're a right thinker, your goal, as a right thinker, is to know thyself. So let's work together and make that happen. I do my job, you tune in and you get yours done, and we'll work together and make it happen for you. So the end game is to know thyself. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, that's okay. Tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Get you to know you. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. A person who knows not and believes and thinks that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat, be true. Right thinkers, let's talk about, you know what the mind? You know about the mind? Or what is the mind? Okay. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the brain or the terminology of the brain. So I don't break it down that way. I'm gonna give it to you in layman's terms. So let's talk about what is the mind. But in order to begin to even understand what I'm teaching you, which is meditation, is all about, it will first start what first be necessary to gain a simple, basic understanding of what the mind is and how it relates to the human being. Okay, so there you go. But we have many people have been educated with the notion that the mind is the emanation or secretion of the physical brain and the body. And that's the feelings, the desires, and emotions, which altogether form the complex, which is referred to as what? Human beings. Okay, are all products of what? The physical self, which is the body. We are spiritual beings. What's inside the body? Further, in the idea of the spirit, but he gives us the mind for us to become individually independent and become what? Knowledge of who we are. So every individual is a unique thing. Every butterfly is different. Every plant is different. There's no two things alike. So all that I'm unique, yeah, we all are. So get out of it, get away from that nonsense. But be unique in a spiritual way where you know thyself. Okay, those are unique beings. And further, watch this: the popular notion in the scientific disciplines of modern society is what? Is that the mind in an individual human being is like, understand this, a unique cell. That means it's very minute in the big picture, which contains, listen, only the information which is put into it through the senses. What they're saying is, for the first 7 years of our life, we come into the world a blank slate with mind and memory. What's going to be put on it is what our environment is going to do. Understand that we all are products of our environment. We are what we was grew up in. Why? Until you change that, that's who you're gonna be. Good, bad, or indifferent. But you have to make that decision. That's become individually what? Independent to know thyself. So never mind what you were surrounded with, never mind who your parents was, never mind all the circumstances and situations about your life. Once you know thyself, you can make all that change for yourself. Let's go. And it is the notion what? If the notion is true, okay, if that's the fact that you only know what you put on, watch this. Now we're gonna take you to the next level with the mental concept. If that notion is true about only what you put on it, science explains, watch this, why do modern parapsychologists have documented cases where where people have exhibited knowledge of occurrences across the world. What you mean? How can that be explained in the fact that many small children have recalled exact details and memories of a past life, and that these memories have been confirmed by the family which the child lived with in the prior life and time. But we use that point to prove reincarnation. That's the fact that we showed that we've been here before. That was the fact we proved with that. But now they show you how the brain, how the mind connects, how the mother connects with the child, its offspring. How is it possible to explain when a mother somehow knows that her child is in imminent danger, even if the child is on the other side of the world? Now, I ain't been on the other side of the world from my mom, but I would get a call from my mom, and only I know that I was going through what I was going through. How did she know? And she called right on time, baby, you all right? And I would freak out because how did she know? That's love. That's that connection that we have with one another from a parent to child. That's how we used to communicate and understand that that's the power of the mind when it's used in the right way. And how is it possible to, okay, we just did that. But when you can feel somebody else's situation, we used to communicate that way. I remember back the day when phones, regular phone, I would think of my mom. You know, you think about somebody, something, yeah, I'm just gonna call. And that thought triggered me to pick the phone up. And on the other end, she's had the same thought about me and picked the phone up, and we connected on the phone. We did that a few times. So we just brushed it off as a fluke. Watch this. Watch this. Now, the answer is, how about this? I got a better one for you. Proven perfect yesterday. I went to my grandsons play basketball. We get together every now and then. We haven't seen each other in a while. So my little youngest one, JoJo, he's growing. So everybody yesterday had on gray sweatsuits. Me, my son, and my two grandsons. And it was funny because when we took our family portrait years ago, me and my father and my son, we had some kind of pink in our shirts. We didn't get dressed together. We didn't talk about it. So I know that synchronism still works. When it's really there, it's there. All you got to do is understand it. And watch this. The answer is that can't be explained through scientific means. Again, so these occurrences are brushed off as flukes or just coincidence. That's what we like. Oh, yeah. One thing about how strong that connection was, that we can communicate without words. Indeed, many scientists have refused to acknowledge the evidence which points out to the fact that the mind, or what every human being calls the essence of who they are, what makes them unique, is not confined to the locality. Perfect example. But it is aware of activities from far away. Further, the memories which together combine to form the content of a person's history. I tell you, we got two sides of the brain hemisphere. One is memory, one is imagination. But you should use them, in the Maya philosophy, as equanimity, equal. Understand the difference between the two and make the best decision for yourself. That's how pros and cons, we call it, okay? The good, the bad. That's what you should always think. If it's good, how much is it good and how bad is it bad? Then you can make the decision. Weigh it out. See which way is out better. History, watch this. This separates your history. And history is not just summations of a person's experiences in life, but even at the present lifetime, but even in the previous ones as well. Again, memory stays with the spirit, okay? And every now and then, it gets connected to the mind and they work together, and all of a sudden, you know things that you have no idea how you know. That's tapping into what we call the Akashic Records, knowledge of all things. See? And the mind is what controls that. The mind is in reality what? You ready? An expression of an ocean of consciousness, meaning universal consciousness. And watch this. In much the same way as a wave is an expression of the vast ocean. We're just a little part of the ocean. There's a vast ocean. We call it the noon. Y'all call it the abyss ocean. But we just a speck of it. Understand? But we're still part of the ocean. If we're water, if God is spirit, spirit is what's in man. Spirit is what's in nature. Spirit, that's what makes everything go around. That means we're part of the whole creation. They call it the ocean, okay? But you, the individual, your mind of a human being is what? An emanation of what? The universal mind or spiritual concepts. And the universal mind is what? You ready? All pervasive and therefore all knowing, all conscious. In India, they call it the absolute. God knows everything. My pastor's favorite word. God knows your heart. And when he used to use that phrase, I wasn't enlightened. So yeah, okay, I got you. Now I wonder if he know what it truly means. Okay, I do. Okay, remember at Judgment Day, what you be judged by? I tell you, God dwells where? I know that now, but it's also mental. If what your human limitation in, of the individual mind, if you were to overcome it, and you can discover what your true universal and your all-encompassing nature, which is what your higher self. I'm hoping to seep in them. I read this years ago, and I started to grasp and understand it. As I started living it, it makes perfect sense. So follow me. The mind, watch this, may be likened to a prism, which is what? In science, a prism may be used to refract normal daylight. I'm sitting here in my office, my lab. Some days I can see light come through in the light, and on the pillow, the rainbow's right there, the prism. So it's broken down, and here we go. Now my numbers game. When this is done, it is what? It is possible to see what? That daylight is composed of a spectrum of pure colors. The rainbow, they stole it. But the rainbow in pure prism is separated by 7 colors, 7 days of the week. Ancient times, it was 7 planets that was visible to the human eye. So 7 is important. To them, 7 was a sign of completion, but they found out that they had 2 more, so 9 is the real number. Moving on is another lesson. But right now, the prism that separates the daylight breaks down into 7 colors. Naturally, each of these colors has what? A different wavelength that allows them to be placed in what? 7 bands. Wavelength, mood change, every vibration, every color has its own mood and range and wavelength that go with it, so to speak. I'm perfect. Prefer my favorite color, red. Okay, but watch this. Red being the lowest, the first. Then you got orange, the second. Third is yellow. And those 3 colors right there, we call that the lower nature because they bright colors. Red, yellow, and orange. McDonald's signs, everything is big, bright light. Why? Because it appeals to the lower nature, which is fine. But then the green signifies what? Nature. That's the heart chakra, not by accident. Watch this. And then you got blue, which is what I'm wearing today. It makes you feel more. Blue is that calming. Blue is the throat chakra. Okay. My kadu, you speaking truth. I'm honest when I'm wearing the blue. That's what they would assume. Blue means that's why the president wear different colored ties to show different moods. So he played a game too. Subliminal messaging. You see him with the blue, he's look calm and dignified, and he wear red. He's on fire. That's power. I love red. So, all for the right reason. Hopefully, now indigo. That's this. Okay, that's the third eye opening, and the 7th, which is what? Purple. Purple is the highest on the spectrum, and it means what? Royalty. When people wear purple, that's royalty. I understand that. So where we at now? Okay, the colors. Okay, and these colors can, watch this. They can be mixed to produce other colors. Interestingly, any color can be obtained how? By mixing 3 primary colors. What the 3 primary colors are? Red, green, and black. Sounds familiar? See, we see that flag at. Moving on. But watch this. Now, in the right proportions, done right, you can get any color you want out of there. So what? So the existence of what? Different wavelengths is what allows the human eyes to perceive what? Different colors. But in reality, what? They are all just emanations from the one single light. Hope you're getting this. Now, in the same way you have the physical body. I'm gonna break that down for you coming up too. In the brain, the nervous system is the head, the brain connected to the body. That's what runs the body. That's the astral body, the nervous system, the mind. That's why it's mental, not physical. And you got the nervous system, which is in the human body. And what it does, it acts like the prism. It breaks things down. How you go? Watch this. The light of what? Consciousness, knowledge, understanding, which pervades the entire universe, is on autopilot, aka Mayat ran in order. Everything is doing what it's supposed to do. And when your body is in full understanding and standing upright, all your chakras lined up, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you are in good health. You're a physical specimen in perfect condition. And what happens? The consciousness, it pervades what? The entire universe is seemingly refracted and what? Thereby all the different forms and the textures and colors of nature become what? Discernible. You understand them. You get them. That is what makes it possible for what? An individual human being to what? Here we go. Discern. Discern means knowing right from wrong, true from untrue. That's Anubis. That's part of your character that you should master also as mastering of self. Anubis is your discernment. And he gives you that for a reason. Why? Discernment, the different forms of colors of nature. This is also what? The source of notions that what? Individuality, separation, time and space. That's all in the physical form. We got to walk the level of time and space. We're born into this position in the physical body, but that's not who we are. Why? We have a mental body, what we call the astral body, which runs the physical body, which is run by the spirit, the soul. This is, what's this? Perception of the colors. What's this? No, excuse me. This is the basis of human experience in the physical body. Understand that all human experiences are related to what? The five senses of their perception of colors in time and space. Calm down, relax. We're spiritual beings born into a physical body to have a human experience, but we don't have knowledge and consciousness of who we are in the physical body. So our goal as a physical human beings is to know thyself, wake up to become conscious of who you are, live in this physical body with peace, contentment, and happiness. That's the goal. Not to be rich and famous, not all that nonsense, but, excuse me, get back to lesson. This is my spiritual concepts. Okay, when you get to the next lesson, I'm almost there. Many people consider that, watch this, their physical self is the only reality, and that's ignorant of them, that's ignorant of self. Yet, watch this, when they dream, their experience is different reality. They don't understand that. When you're in the waking state, we're conscious, so we're functioning and okay. But when you go to sleep, you ain't physically aware of nothing. Why? Because it's all up here. Moving on further, and watch this. In the dreamless state, there is still what? Another personality. You only can manufacture in your dreams what you got in your head. It ain't coming from somewhere else. So you don't create something outside yourself. You create everything within. And God creates everything what? From himself. So which is the true personality? The one that's awake or the one that's asleep? How about this? Neither. The essence is that all of these personalities are just relative to whatever state you're in at that particular time. And therefore, what? Illusory, meaning unreal. That is to say what? That they're only relative expressions of a higher reality. There we go. Which is what? The absolute and the abiding truth. We call it the all. Brahmins call it the absolute. But that's God, all encompassing, all knowing, the Nabircha. All those are things that label God for who he is from different aspects and understandings. The soul or individual cell of what human consciousness is the source in which sustains what? The mind and even the physical body itself. The physical body can't function without what? The spirit, and without the mind controlling this movement, the subconscious, who what runs the body, functions. Without that, it don't work. Thus, the spirit essence of the human being is what responsible for its existence of the mind and the body, and not the other way around. We all know the mind runs the body. We ain't gonna go to that. So let's talk right quick. I'm gonna wrap it up. I see the clock. The mind in a human being is always what? Watch this. Concentrating on either the past memories, the present, right now, circumstances, situations, depending on how they are, good or bad, and they always looking to the future. So the mind stays agitated. That's called an agitated mind. And from the time what we wake up in the morning until the time we go to sleep, the mind is in that state. This is why you have to meditate to calm it down, slow it down, gain control over it. Don't let it run you. You are constantly bombarded with the ideas, we call it life, of what you have done, what you're going to do now, and what you have to do in the future. All those things are just constantly running through your mind. But what happens, when we went to sleep? All that stuff, what happens to your thoughts, and which were so important and so pressing at the time. The past don't seem that bad. The present, you ain't even in it, and the future fades away. So what happened? Into the midst of what? Sleep, as if they never even existed. Why? It's all in the mind. Most people do not much, most people do not give much importance to sleep. The body is physically built to spend 1/3 of its activity in the resting state. So understand that. Even though, watch this, most people don't give much importance to sleep, even though the average person spends what? 1/3 of his or her life existence in what? The sleep mode. Sleeping. The body needs it. We've been going for days. Some people stay up, you take drugs and run. Yeah, but the body needs rest. And what happens? If you push it, it's going to shut down. Simple. Okay? What would happen if you were the person who spent 1/3 of human existence? Okay. What would happen if you were able to transcend yesterday, today, and tomorrow, as well as the waking time and your dream time into one understanding? What would happen if this light of consciousness, which seems to fragment from different stages into waking, dreaming, and dreamless state again, and into the various thoughts that come in the mind of your mind, and what if that were not refracted? What if you just had it? What would happen if if all of the wavelengths were reconverged into oneself again? Just like they tell you about the semen retention. If you don't waste it, you regenerate you. It adds life conceptually. Let me wrap it up for you. Again, appreciate you tuning in. This is it. The practice, here you go, of meditation. This is why it's important. I'm waiting to get to this. The practice of meditation acts as a focusing device. What do you mean? We all have played with magnifying glasses, right? Watch this. It is the process by which the separated rays of consciousness we're going to use within a human being are once again made whole. What you mean? In much of the same way, that as a magnifying glass, take that big sun over there, that light, and we used to watch the magnifying glass, we know what it does, focuses that rays of the sun and become a powerful force which can even ignite a fire. Meditation focuses the rays of the mind and develops a one-pointed vision, third eye, which the power to burn away all illusions, aka egoism, ignorance, and all types of negativity. This is why he wanted you raised. Why? Because it can spit venom 6 feet away to keep the enemy away from you. The enemy is ignorance and egoism and nonsense. Okay? Get the concept? And when this occurs, you have a new vision emerges. You're born again. You're enlightened. Now you reach the Nihas. You are enlightened being. And what happens? You have now a new understanding about the world. You see the world different. And the very nature of who one really is emerges. Just like when the sun and the cloud on a cloudy day, so meditation is like a process through which what? The scattered ideas just fragment out of your brain, your bad thoughts, egoistic illusions, bad emotions, feelings and emotions, and even your so-called psychic energy, which make up what? Your consciousness, the consciousness of a human being, or what? Are converged now in order to what? Discover what lies beyond the multiplicity and the apparent differentiation of nature, which well, which will what? Arise in the human heart. Once you come in contact with your higher self, everything is different. Not just being loved, everything, no, but having knowledge of self, everything seems different. You become astute with knowing and understanding life itself. I'm gonna give you a quick breakdown. We're gonna start the lesson, but I got this I want to show you. I want to get a quick lesson, hopefully get this in. See that? See what it says there? This top, say God. Okay, that's the spirit. That's outside. Once it comes into you, you got three stages of the body: the casual, the astral, and the physical. We look at it as Amun, which is hidden. Then you got Ra, which is seen, and you got Patel, which is manifested. These are all symbolic concepts that once you master and understand them, you can implement them and live by them right quick. The soul's at the top. That's your unconscious mind. What you mean? That's the casual body that you're going to end up when the physical body dies. The casual body is what's going to be left. The subconscious mind, which is the astral body, which is the brain, the nervous system that runs the body. Okay, that's the part that's when you go to sleep. That's what runs the body. The subconscious mind takes care of everything. Right now, your conscious mind, which is the waking body, which in right now we are awakened. That's the physical state. That's called awakened state. We're in the physical body, but it's all generated by what? The universal soul, and that's what? Eternal. It don't die, but it's bodiless, but it's all pervasive, meaning it's all knowing. The soul, the spirit. Okay, that's the first dot. And you got the individual soul is composed of three bodies: the deep unconscious, which is the casual body, where we're going to end up; the thought, imagination, and dream state, which is the astral body, where we go when we go to sleep, where we spend a third of our life in that state, preparing for that state, because that's where you're going. Okay, that's that state before the casual. But then you got the waking. All right, here, living. We have 24 hours a day. We have to live in time and space. We have to do things in the physical context. So that's the physical body, but that's not who you are. That's the gross and the most final sense of the body. Okay, that's the waking state. So the mind and the nervous system are what? Instruments. Your mind and the nervous system is an instrument that runs the body of the self, which what it uses to have what? Human experience. We're spiritual beings in the physical body having a human experience in what? The realm of time and space, which has been created in much the same way, watch this, as a person falls asleep and develops an entire dream world out of his or her own consciousness. This is what we're in God's world right now. That's what we're in. We're in God's dream state, but we are individual, free to do and be however and whatever we want to do, okay? It is what? An unconscious and a subconscious levels where what? At the unconscious level, the casual body and the subconscious. Because when you're sleeping, you're not controlling the heartbeat, you're in control of the flow of your body functions. So the subconscious takes care of that. And at that level, that's where most of the intense work of what? Yoga takes place. Why? Because it is here that the conscious identification of a person creates the impressions in the mind, and where the desires based on those impressions are developed. It starts with this. And if you're ignorant, and if you want sensual things, pleasurable things, that's what you're going to aspire to do. But watch this. It is these desires that keep what? The aspirant involved in the realm of time and space, or it what? Frees you. If you want things here, then you're going to stay here. What frees you? What? You aspire to what? To do better, to be your best self, the greatest you can be. And what happened? That frees you, the aspirant right thinker, from what? From the world of time and space. If they are submitted into what? Your spiritual desires for what? Spiritual enlightenment means you use it for the good. The desire to attain enlightenment is not viewed in the same manner as what? As the ego vision-based desires from ignorant people who just live for materialistic things and pleasures of the flesh. You think different, you act different. And it is viewed as what? Being aspiration, which is a positive movement. Ego is not. Aspirant is good. Enlightenment is a term used to describe what? The highest level of spiritual awakening. We call it nihas. It means what? Attaining such a level of spiritual awareness that one discovers the underlying unity of the entire universe, as well as the fact, you hear that? Not a belief, a fact that the source of all creation is the same source from which what? All the innermost self within every human heart arises. So we all have the same opportunities. We all have the same spirit. All we don't have the same is the mind. That's what you control. That's what you run. That's when the understanding of knowing thyself comes into play. So that's the lesson. I know it took a little long. Hope I got my point across. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know the right thinkers like you have passed away. But I'll be back.